Buenas gente, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos nuevamente al canal, soy Jacek y nada, vamos a continuar con esta pedazo de aventura de investigación, un juego indie de investigación que nos viene de la mano de, si recordáis, de la desarrolladora White Paper Games, desarrolladora del Reino Unido. Y bueno, creo que estamos ya en el endgame, del juego. Nos queda únicamente, creo, que empezar a juntar todas las piezas del puzzle y ya está. Y así, pues, dar un poco con la tecla de quién ha secuestrado a nuestra querida vecinita, ¿no? Vale, pues nada, vamos a empezar. Continuar.
After searching Shirley's pub, it's clear to me that she's a person of questionable morality. The glass shard that the police found matched the small telescope perfectly. I'm positive it was the weapon used to hit Tony Morgan, but I found no trace of Charlotte May. This is my last chance. I need to know a few more things before I accuse Shirley of anything.
Vale. Vale, exacto. Y ahora teníamos que relacionar las pruebas del episodio anterior, que nos quedó pendiente. Vale, vamos a cogerlas. Vamos a traernoslas para el panel. Exacto. Cogemos todas. Bueno, esto es un poco rayada, ¿eh? Y venga, vamos a ver si lo completamos rápido. Si no, igualmente vamos pidiendo pistillas. Venga, a ver qué nos dice. ¿Estaba Shirley Downs en el telescopio la noche que se llevaron a Charlotte May? Shirley Downs en el telescopio la noche que se llevaron a Charlotte May. Vale. Pero vamos a ordenarnos un poquito las pruebas por aquí. Hostia, hay un montón, ¿eh? Vale, está por aquí, todo un poco ordenado. Vale, a ver qué nos dice la segunda.
Was a glass they may have smashed during the attack. Is it possible that there was no intruder? Is it possible the glass could have smashed in some other way?
¿Puede que el vaso se hubiera roto de otra manera? Vale, espera, vamos a centrarnos primero. Bueno, a ver, espera ya. Vamos a ver la tercera.
Can I use them to connect Shirley to the kidnapping?
¿Alguna de estas pruebas coincide con lo que dice el informe de la policía? Vale, pues vamos a empezar por el principio. Venga, primero por
Shirley
aquí.
used Lady Doer's telescope to spy on the Morgans. Is there any evidence that places her in Lady Doer's home on the night that Charlotte May was taken?
Bueno. ¿Qué tenemos por aquí? Primero la primera nota. Rastros de tierra marrón encontrados en la escena, posiblemente del calzado. Se han encontrado hilos de un jersey azul no identificado en la víctima. Quizás pertenecían al asaltante. Rastros de un fuerte sedante líquido encontrados en la escena. ¿Se usó para dejar inconsciente a Charlotte May? Había un macetero destrozado en la escena. Lo rompió presuntamente la víctima al caerse. No, esto me huele más a la de en medio. A ver, esta de aquí. Leer creo que en la R, ¿no? Eso es. La hora límite para pedir son las 10 de la noche. Si rompe un dardo o pierde una botella de billar, se le cobrará por el reemplazo o se le vetará del local. Mi personal no tiene por qué pedirle un taxi a casa. Los vasos apoyados en la campaña del último pedido se caerán cuando se suene. Ah, mira, este es algo de un vaso. Pues no sé, relaciono esto del vaso con esto del vaso, ¿no? Vaso con vaso. Aunque estábamos haciendo la primera. Pero bueno, da igual. Anyway. Vale, vamos a ver qué nos dice la tercera nota. Las sesiones por trauma implicaría que el asalto se produjo con un objeto contundente pesado. El rastro encontrado en la ropa de la víctima implica que el arma estaba hecha de metal. Múltiples huellas en la escena del crimen, de hombre y mujer. El atacante podría llevar botas de trabajo de tamaño medio. Fibra de una cuerda negra y verde encontrada. Posiblemente se usó para atar. No. Esto no me huele a nada del telescopio. Más. ¿Qué tenemos aquí? Sospechoso del robo del Silver Brooks en libertad sin cargos. No. No quería hacer eso. Hostia, es que se ve muy pequeñito, ¿no? Especialista en antigüedades de plata de Riverpool. Visión borrosa, pérdida de memoria, pérdida de conciencia, en raras ocasiones la muerte. No me suena esto. A ver, ¿está de aquí? Lista de vetados, de por vida. Esto es una historia que flipas. Encontrar la relación esta de las pruebas. Envío de suministros de Riverport. Cuerda de atar verde 2 metros. Cuerda de atar negra 2 metros. Martillo de orejas. Comprimidos de oxígeno de hidrógeno. Bueno, aquí se hace alusión a las cuerdas nuevamente. Restos de gasolina mezclados con una muestra de sangre. El ángulo implicaría que la persona que atacó era más baja que la víctima. El patio estaba demasiado oscuro para ver nada. El atacante debía de conocer a la víctima y sabía dónde estaba. Todos los vecinos estaban presentes en Dahlia la noche del ataque. Estamos buscando pruebas que nos hagan suponer, nos hagan confirmar que Shirley Downs estaba en el telescopio mirando la noche del ataque. Larry regresó anoche apestando a alcohol. Había recorrido todo el camino a casa descalzo de un pie. Sé que no eres responsable de lo que haga, pero podías haberle pedido un taxi. No pretendo discutir contigo, pero ya sabes lo peligrosas que están las cosas ahí fuera últimamente. Esto es de Shirley. Esto es de Shirley. Sí, podríamos decir que esta prueba, porque para darse cuenta que Larry regresó anoche borracho y todo este rollo, pues debería estar mirando por la ventana con el telescopio, entiendo, ¿no? Quiero entender. No pretendo discutir... hostia, pero mirad lo último que dice, pero ya sabes lo peligrosas que están las cosas ahí fuera últimamente. ¿Y tú cómo lo sabes que están las cosas ahí fuera peligrosas? Vale, yo creo que es esto, ¿eh? Pero ya sabes lo peligrosas que están las cosas ahí fuera últimamente. Esto incrimina a esta muchacha. Aquí. Conectar la prueba. Vale. Larry tambaleándose fuera con un solo zapato. La vio en la cocina. Los perdí de vista. ¿Estarán tramando algo? La abrazada. Un gato golpea la basura en el callejón. Seguro que es algo de esta prueba, ¿eh? Seguro. No, esta no era. A ver, que me vuelva a contar.
Shirley used Lady Doer's telescope to spy on the Morgans. Is there any evidence that places her in Lady Doer's home on the night that Charlotte May was taken?
Que la sitúen en la acción. Que la sitúen en la acción. No lo sé, por probar algo. ¿Y esto qué era? Ah, esto era el mapa. El mapa de plano de la casa. Con todo el tema de la corriente, ¿no? De los circuitos eléctricos. Uf. ¿Y esto qué? A ver, contexto. El plano del electricista que encontré en la mesa del despacho de Shirley. Sí, eso es. Lo sabemos. Las lesiones por trauma implicarían que el asalto se produjo con un objeto contundente pesado. Esto no la incrimina, pero no lo sé. No lo sé. No lo sé. A ver, vamos a coger cualquiera aquí y le vamos a decir que nos diga una pista. Revisar teoría.
There must be some small detail here.
Pista.
I'm sure that some of this evidence is irrelevant. I could remove them.
Sí, aceptar pista.
There. Everything left on the board is relevant.
Vale, todo lo que hay en la mesa es relevante, ¿eh?
There must be a detail I'm missing on some of the evidence.
Yo creo que esta está mal. Esta está mal, por supuesto. Restos de un fuerte sedante líquido encontrados en la escena. No, esto no es. Desconectar prueba. Vale. Visión borrosa, pérdida de memoria. No, esto no me suena. Esto será de otro lado. Shirley Downs. A ver.
I should read every detail on the evidence. There must be some small detail I'm missing on some of the evidence.
No, otra pista, por favor.
I feel I could group this evidence based on the questions they relate to.
Aceptar pista.
Okay, I'm sure that everything I've grouped relates to the right question.
Vale, vamos a verlo. Esto estaba bien, ¿no? Desconectar prueba. Yo qué sé, ponemos una aquí al azar y que me dé la pista. Porque si no, nos vamos a tirar aquí. Conectar prueba, venga. Revisar teoría.
I need to make sure I'm looking at all of the evidence. I need to look at every single detail there is. I need to look at every piece of evidence.
Va, esto es un coñazo.
To make sure I'm scouring
Sí, pista, pista, pista.
I think I could ignore everything I don't need in the remaining evidence. There. All that remains is to connect the relevant evidence.
Vale. Solo queda conectar las pruebas relevantes. ¿Esto está bien?
Shelley used Lady Doer's telescope to
Ah, me queda
spy.
una. Espera, espera, que me queda una.
Is there any evidence that places her in Lady Doer's home on the night that Charlotte May was taken?
Vale. No. Ah, mira, jueves 22 de junio, tienes razón. Conectamos la prueba. Revisar teoría.
I need to make sure I'm looking at all of the evidence.
¿What? No me jodas. Pues estaba bien, ¿no? 23 de junio. A ver, vamos a empezar. Desconectar. Conectar prueba. Conectar prueba, desconectar prueba. Hay algunas que ya por las pistas me las he dejado solas. Esto. Larry vino borracho. 23 de junio. Vale.
I need to make sure I'm
Joder.
scanning all of the evidence.
Madre mía.
There must be some small detail here. There must be a detail I'm missing on some of the evidence. I need to look at every single detail there is.
A ver si esta es esta.
I should read every detail on
No.
the evidence. The only proof of an intruder at Shirley Downs' pub was a glass they may have smashed during the attack. Is it possible that there was no intruder? Is it possible the glass could have smashed in some other way?
Vale, a lo mejor tirando por ahí es más fácil. Buscando evidencias de que la rotura del vaso no fue por un intruso dentro del pub. No, esto no. Aquí no hay nada. No. A ver, ¿qué era esto? Cuerda de atar verde, cuerda de atar negra, martillo de orejas, comprimidor de hidrógeno. No, nada. Esto es de aquí. Vale. Vamos a buscar la segunda. Nada. Pues yo qué sé. Vamos a poner esta, a ver.
There must be some small detail I'm missing on some of the evidence. I need to look at every piece of evidence. There must be some small detail here. I should read every detail on the evidence. I need to make sure I'm looking at all of the evidence. That's right, I wanted something.
Vale.
Oh, what does the rest of it mean?
Ahora faltan el resto. Tu. Por ejemplo. Por ejemplo.
I need to look at every single detail there is. There must be a detail I'm missing on some of the evidence.
¿Alguna de estas pruebas coincide con lo que dice el informe de la policía? A ver, vamos a ir quitándolas otra vez. Fuera, fuera, fuera.
I've taken some excerpts from the police report.
Correcto.
Can I use them to connect Shirley to the kidnapping?
Un fuerte sedante líquido. Fuerte sedante líquido. Esto es lo del sedante, ¿no? ¿Y qué más?
I need to make sure I'm scouring all of the evidence. I need to look at every piece of evidence. I need to look at every piece of evidence.
Joder. Vale, ¿esta cuál era? La del grupo 3. Esto es de un fuerte sedante. Vale, sí, hemos puesto lo del sedante. Sedante marcado con aquí con el sedante. Y esto es el jueves 22 de junio.
There must be a detail I'm missing on some of the evidence.
No,
There
no,
must
no.
be some small detail I'm missing on some of the evidence. I need to make sure I'm scouring all of the evidence.
Fibra de una cuerda negra y verde, no, no sé. El atacante puede llevar botas. Múltiples huellas. A ver, múltiples huellas.
I need to make sure I'm looking at all of the evidence.
A ver. Un gato golpea una basura en el callejón, la abraza. Yo qué sé, probamos esta, a ver. Vale, revisar
I need
técnica.
to look at every single detail there
No.
is.
No. Eso no es. A ver, desconectamos. Empezamos otra vez, venga, que me estoy empezando a liar ya con todas las pruebas. Por ejemplo, esta primera. ¿Estaba Shirley Jones en el telescopio la noche que se llevaron a Charlotte May? No, esta no creo que sea. Esta es de aquí. No, perdón, esta es de aquí. Cuerda de 2 colores. Ambos arriba en el dormitorio y la parte de delante. A ver si está. Conecta hasta de aquí. Larry vino borracho. Yo qué sé, aquí mismo. Perdió la conciencia. Yo creo que perdió la conciencia, sí que va con la última del report de la policía, ¿no? Es que tiene toda la pinta. Madre mía, nos está costando este, ¿eh? Nos está costando este. Grupo 1, grupo 1.
There must be some small detail here. I should read every detail on the evidence.
Fibra de cuerda. Y nos queda esta, ¿no?
There must be a detail I'm missing on some of the evidence.
Hilos de un jersey azul. Es que no me acuerdo si tenía un jersey azul. Es que no me acuerdo, macho, si tenía un jersey azul o no. La mujer. Restos de un fuerte sedante líquido. Restos de un fuerte sedante líquido. A ver. Cuerda de atar. A ver, pero quitándolo ya me está diciendo que es el debajo del green, ¿no? Estas dos últimas las que están mal, seguro. Estas dos últimas, esta y esta. Restos de tierra marrón encontrados en la escena, posiblemente del calzado. ¿Sedante? ¿No? Sedante. Sedante y... Joder. Madre de Dios. Venga, va. Vale, esta es evidente. Esta me falta. Vale. Vale, y ahora esta simplemente es una opción de las que nos faltan en... ¡Hey, Marco! ¿Qué pasa, Magmo? Nada, a ver si consigo completar esta noche el juego el indie de investigación, el Conway. Pero... Hostia, lo que me ha pasado es que en el episodio anterior, este juego hace más de 2 días que no lo juego y no completé el capítulo bien. Y ahora tengo que relacionar todas las pistas que encontré hace 2 días y no me acuerdo de nada, tío. Para ir al endgame, que es, yo creo que estoy en el endgame ya. ¿Qué tal el sábado? ¿Cómo te ha ido? Bah, pues mira, esto una por una. Empezamos por la primera.
That's it. By the police's account, Shirley had access to the same type of rope and chloroform of a sort. Match that with a telescope as an attack weapon, and I think I have all the means I need. I can even place her at the window watching over Charlotte May just minutes before she was taken. I spent so much time looking at the McKees and Harold Levy. It's Shirley. It has to be. Dear God, I hope I'm not too late. Time to gather my neighbors and share my suspicions. Put an end to this once and for all. I was reaching the end of my investigation. No idea if Catherine could even look me in the eye. I'd promised Tony Morgan I'd find his daughter, and I'd betrayed my own in the process. Perhaps I should have listened to Catherine and left the investigation to the police. Perhaps Tony Morgan didn't need my help. Perhaps I'd failed everyone. Only time would tell, and Shirley Downs held the key. Catherine, thank you for coming.
What do you want, Dad? I told you I didn't want to
I
go through.
promise I'm not wasting your time.
What do you want?
Please, come inside. I have something you'll want to see.
You'll forgive me if I don't believe you.
Then why did you come?
It's my job to follow up all leads.
Then, please, I'll show you what I've been working on these past few days.
These past few days you promised me you weren't investigating again. Please don't humiliate me, Dad. Christ.
Están todos ahí, ¿eh?
Here is the main event.
Thank you all for coming. I imagine you share some notion of why I asked you here. In short, to discuss the disappearance of Charlotte May, and also to apologize to each and every one of you. I'm sure you know by now that I've been investigating every possible area of her disappearance, and that has meant looking closely at Dahlia View.
You mean spying on us?
A crude interpretation, but yes.
That's illegal. Surely.
I've broken no laws, I can assure you.
That we know of. This is an invasion of privacy. You're a police officer. How can you let him do this?
It's not illegal to ask questions, Mrs. McKee.
What about breaking and entering? How'd you feel about that?
Tienen razón.
Are you pressing charges, Mr. Levy?
We still need to address the fact that there's an attacker at
Let
large.
Mr. Conway speak. I'd rather like to see where this is going.
Well, with my apology out of the way, let's talk about what I've uncovered.
Vale. Los maquis, venga.
Annabelle and Theo. The two of you clearly have problems of your own to work through.
The very nerve of you, Mr. Conway.
And you should have reported that dog that you hit with the car.
Toma.
It would have saved a lot of time, and perhaps we would have found Charlotte May by now. But I have no reason at all to think you could have taken Charlotte May.
I could have told you that if you'd asked.
I have nothing more to say to the two of you.
Vale, vamos con Lady Doer.
Lady Doer, I thank you for permitting me to search your home. But on reflection, you really should pay more attention to whom you employ to clean your estate.
Hindsight is a blessing.
I don't think you had anything to do with Charlotte May's disappearance. It's a shame that your home was violated in such a way. Again, I extend my apologies that you've been dragged into this.
Water under the bridge, Mr. Conway.
Harold Levy.
Harold Levy.
Este.
You don't like me very much. I can live with that. You said it yourself. As long as I pay my rent on time, we won't have a problem. In the future, it might do you well to extend that courtesy to neighbors going through certain hardships. Well, not every problem can be solved with your fists. I believe you owe Mr. Morgan an apology.
What's he talking about?
God knows.
Other than that, I found nothing to think you capable of such a terrible act as kidnapping a girl. I have nothing more for you.
Oh, that was a waste of time then.
And finally, we come to Shirley Downs, the second victim of our unknown perpetrator. A completely innocent bystander the night that Charlotte May was taken. The perfect alibi. Were it not all based on lies and deception.
Well then.
What? No, you all saw what happened to me.
Shirley, please, let us dispense with the song and dance.
Shirley? What is he talking about?
I have no idea, Annabelle. I can assure you of that. Just what on earth are you getting at, Mr. Conway?
I bloody know it. You've always been a dark horse.
Shut up. I had nothing to do with Charlotte May's disappearance, I promise you.
Mr. Conway, I think you might have made a mistake.
Catherine, would you mind?
Please, I think it's time we talk to Miss Downs alone. Could we have the room?
I think I should stay. She's my sister and she needs
Mrs. McKee, please. Everyone, in fact. Leave now.
I think it's best you leave too, Mr. Morgan. Don't worry, I'll update you later on this evening once
Se está poniendo calentito esto, ¿eh?
Shirley,
I'll be fine, Annabelle. They're making a huge mistake. Just do as the police officer says.
I'm afraid that means you too, Mr. Levy.
No way. I would have missed this if you paid me.
Get out, you fool.
Marcianito, ¿qué pasa, tío? Bienvenido. ¿Cómo estás?
What you wanted, was it?
Ah, no hay problema, hombre.
How
Nada,
very
tranquilo.
disappointing. Good work, Mr. Conway.
Grande, grande.
Shirley, please take a seat. Now, where should I begin?
Look, I don't know what this is about, but I think you made a huge mistake. I'm sorry, Catherine, is it? Can you talk some sense into him?
I think we should hear what he has to say.
This is ridiculous.
If you have nothing to hide, then surely you relish the chance to prove your innocence.
You watched me get attacked. That proves that the kidnapper is still out there.
Well, let's start there then, shall we?
Catalejo.
How will you explain this, I wonder?
Perhaps you want to explain how you found that, without breaking the law.
I'm sure it will come to that. But for now, we're talking about you. You have nothing to say? There's no getting around this, Shirley.
You're not listening. It wasn't me.
Fragmento de cristal.
What's that supposed to be?
Why don't you tell me? It was found in your pub.
Claro, con eso le pegaste la hostia.
So what? Lots of people drink there every day. Glasses smash. I don't know what's special about a piece of glass.
Sounds plausible.
Well, there you have it.
Well, Mr. Crow didn't seem to think so. He told me you took it from the police evidence room.
Prove it.
I intend to. I'm sure Mr. Crow will be willing to testify. Let's move on.
Pues bueno. La que nos queda, ¿no? Vamos a ver la
Say
foto.
about this.
You've been watching me. Annabelle was right. This is an invasion of privacy.
Well, isn't that what you wanted?
What are you talking about?
Well, for someone to see your charade. The whole business with the so-called intruder. You set the whole thing up.
What a ridiculous thing to say. How could I have? Why would I?
You did it so that Tony Morgan would see you as the victim, and therefore not as his attacker. I saw you too. I'll admit, you were very convincing.
This is all in your mind, Mr. Conway. You have no evidence at all.
Well, we'll see. Let's continue, shall we? Well, I suppose that's that. Catherine, is what you've heard enough to arrest Miss Downs?
I'm sorry, it's not conclusive enough, I'm afraid.
Well then, I suppose I was wrong.
Toma
Should
zasca.
have gone with my gut and accused Annabelle.
What?
Again, I'm sorry I
What?
wasted your time. Catherine, can you see if Annabelle is still close by?
Wait, Mr. Conway. What could you possibly think Annabelle has to do with this?
Well, I shouldn't discuss this with you, but all those late nights whilst Thea was gigging, no one able to verify her whereabouts. And then, of course, there's the matter of the Well, like I said, I shouldn't discuss this with you. I apologize, Miss Downs. Let's see if we have enough to arrest your sister.
Wait.
What is it?
Venga, que lo suelta, que lo suelta. Que lo suelta.
I hid the telescope in my safe, but I was hiding it for someone else.
The truth, Shirley. Or this conversation is over.
Okay, I hit Mr. Morgan, but I swear I thought he was someone else.
I'll see what your sister has to say.
I'm telling you the truth. Annabelle had nothing to do with it.
Where is Charlotte May?
I didn't take her. That's why I hid the telescope in the first place, so the police wouldn't suspect that I took her.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
I didn't take Charlotte May.
So let me get this straight.
Venga, presiónala.
And it's very important that you're clear.
Presiona, presiona. Venga. Ataque falso, catalejo, foto, fragmento de cristal. Ataque falso es la novedad que tenemos en las opciones, ¿no? Venga, vamos a darle.
You faked the attack against you.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I needed people to know that the kidnapper is still out there. I couldn't come forward and say what I'd done because people would think I took Charlotte May.
You took the shard of glass from the police evidence room.
Well, yes, because it proved that I hit Mr. Morgan. But I thought I was hitting Harold Levy.
The telescope is the attack weapon.
I took it from Lady Dowa's hallway. I saw my sister having an affair from Lord Dowa's window. I was angry. I overreacted.
You attacked Tony Morgan.
I already told you. I thought I was hitting Harold Levy. He was kissing my sister, Annabelle. A married woman, Theo's wife.
I don't think even you can separate the truth from the lies anymore.
I'm not lying, Mr. Conway.
You took Charlotte May that night.
I did not.
Then you put her in Lady Dowa's basement. Why?
I'm not saying another word.
You knocked me from my chair and then staged the attack on yourself to throw me off the scent.
That's all in your head.
Where is Charlotte May?
Ahí.
Is that enough to arrest Miss Downs?
I believe so, yes.
Then I think I've heard just about all I need to. Catherine, may I have a word?
Well, it looks like you were onto something after all.
Yes, it looks that way.
Let's wrap this up then, shall we?
Wait a moment. You see now what I was doing, what I had to do.
I do.
Well then, what's wrong? With a little more time, Shirley will tell us where Charlotte May is. You can arrest her. This is a good thing.
You lied to me. You betrayed my trust after you promised me. I'm so glad that you were right. I really am, but that doesn't change how you did it.
Catherine, we did it. You and I. I listened to what you said, and I truly am sorry. There were moments where I knew I was crossing a line, but I did it.
You've told me already.
And I meant it. Please.
Ojo.
I'm going to update Mr. Morgan later on and tell him what we found. It would mean a lot to me if you were by my side.
Que es normal que se revele la hija.
I don't think so, Dad.
Es que en teoría la investigación era de la hija.
I'm sorry.
Catherine, please.
Miss Downs, I'm arresting you on suspicion of the abduction of Charlotte May Morgan and an attempt to obstruct an active and ongoing police investigation. You don't have to speak, but anything you do say might be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand?
O sea, ¿nos han arrestado? O sea, al final nos han arrestado a nosotros. ¿Ha arrestado a su padre, de verdad?
Shirley has confessed to almost everything I've thrown at her.
¿O no lo he entendido bien?
But She's refused to give me the location of Charlotte May. I hope to God she's still alive. It's out of my hands and up to Catherine.
Ah, no, vale.
I've reached the end of my investigation.
Vale, perfecto.
At what cost?
Pues tu hija se acabaría contigo. Sigue desaparecida 6 horas más tarde, 11:17 de la noche.
I promised Mr. Morgan I'd return this brooch when I found Charlotte May. The news of Shelley's arrest will have to do for now.
Vale, pues venga, vamos a dárselo, ¿no? ¿Tenemos acción? Sí, tenemos acción. Cogemos el broche. Vale.
Now that all's said and done, I suppose I should tidy all this away.
Nueva entrada. Shirley Downs. Shirley Downs se está arrepintiendo de llegar a ser vieja y no tener nada de lo que enorgullecerse en la vida. Su hermana va a cumplir 30 y eso solo le recuerda que el tiempo se le escapa de las manos. Tras hablar con Shirley, parece que todo empieza a cobrar sentido. Lo ha confesado casi todo. Su peor rasgo es su cabezonería. Se niega a decirme dónde está Charlotte May. Vale, salimos, ¿no? ¿Flores? What?
I was hoping to return to Mr. Morgan with his daughter. Not this hollow gesture.
Cogemos las flores. Sin más. Salimos ya de la casa, ¿no? Ok, a ver.
I used to roam these halls and wonder what kind of neighbors lived around me. Now I know all too well.
Pues unos vecinos que son tela marinera. Pero bueno, esperemos que la niña siga viva, ¿eh? Venga, vamos allá. Está andando al revés. Ahora.
How will Mr. Morgan take the news, I wonder? He's been through enough. No sign of Catherine. She's not coming.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Conway.
Mr. Morgan, how are you?
As well as can be expected, I suppose. I have to say I wasn't expecting you so soon.
I apologize. I thought you might want an update regarding Shirley Downs.
Of course, yes. Why don't you step inside for a moment and, well, please come in. You can leave your things down there if you like.
Thank you.
Please. You were saying?
Yes. In short, it went well.
She confessed?
Well, not to all of it, but I have reason to believe she's confessing right now in police custody. She confessed to hitting you over the head and to pretending she was attacked. We found the weapon and well, the list goes on.
What about my daughter?
She refused to admit it. She was adamant.
But you said she confessed to hitting me.
Well, there's more to the story, I'm afraid. She swears blind that she thought she was hitting Harold Levy.
What? Okay, I don't know what that means.
I agree. It doesn't make any sense.
Where is my daughter, Mr. Conway?
Eso.
Mr. Morgan, I won't stop until I
No sabes.
find her.
I'm sorry. That was unfair of me.
I understand, and it's me who has to apologize. I told you I would find your daughter, and until now I've failed you in that matter.
I don't blame you. You've done all you can. I'm sorry. Where are my manners? Please, come and sit through here.
Yo no me acabo de fiar del padre, ¿eh? Yo no me acabo de fiar del padre.
Perhaps you'd like a cup of tea, Mr. Conway.
It's 2 sugars, isn't it?
Sí.
Yes, that's right.
Please, make yourself at home. I'll be back momentarily.
Thank you, I will.
Vale, vamos a cotillear cosas. Vale, podemos cotillear, sí. Vale. Coño, F. Place match.
How long have you lived in Dahlia View? It must have been before I moved here.
Yes, about 4 years or so. I remember the day you moved here. I should have introduced myself then. I'm sorry about that.
Not to worry. I should have done the same.
Thank you so much. I hope it was of some use.
Ey, ¿no me deja salir? ¿No me deja salir de aquí? Acercar, sí, acercar, rotar. Pero déjame salir, ¿no? En teoría con la F debería volver atrás. Ah, otro bug, tío, joder. No me digas que es otro bug. No. No, no me deja salir. No. A ver. A ver. Sí, ahora sí.
How long have you lived in Dahlia View? It must have been before I moved here.
Yes, about 4 years or so. I remember the day you moved here. I should have introduced myself then. I'm sorry about that.
Not to worry. I should have done the same.
I'm not Indian. Robson, I'm Spanish.
Oh, that reminds me. I've brought the brooch back that I found at the crime scene.
Thank
Es
you
que había
so
que hacer
much.
eso,
I
tío.
hope it was of some use.
Había que hacer eso. Hostia, qué de fotos.
What on earth? This isn't Charlotte May. It's a different girl altogether. Wearing Charlotte May's brooch.
Hostia. Madre mía. Y yo diciendo que era un bug.
Jesus, what is this?
Hostia, otra
Mr.
niña.
Morgan, what have you done?
Hostia. Hostia, que el cabronazo va secuestrando niñas y haciéndolas pasar por sus hijas. Hostia, que viene, que me va a pillar. Hostia. Qué cabronazo.
I said I hope the brooch was of some use.
Yes.
I mean, no. I wasn't able to connect it to anything.
Is everything okay, Mr. Conway? You seem a little out of sorts.
Yes, I'm fine. I don't think I'll have that tea after all. I'm sorry to put you out, but I remembered I have to hand over all of my findings to Catherine. She'll probably be waiting for me.
She was 6 when that picture was taken.
Is that so?
Such an innocent age, wouldn't you say? Charlotte wouldn't have known what real danger was back then. Not like you and I.
Well, we all have to grow up at some point, don't we? You'll excuse me, but I really must.
Are you sure you're okay, Mr. Conway? I can't help but feel your discomfort. Is it something I've done?
Like I said, I'm probably keeping Catherine waiting, is all.
Ya nos ha pillado. Aquí nos ha pillado.
You know, I thought that I was careful enough, but the way you think, you really are very clever, Mr. Conway. To your detriment.
Hostia. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's funny. I spent the past few days wondering who on earth would attack me. I was as confused as everyone else. Turns out it was all just a misunderstanding. Have you ever heard anything so unlikely? I was going to leave town that night. I'd left her in Doe's basement. Things were almost in place. I was putting the rubbish out, and then... well... and then Shirley Downs.
She's still alive, isn't she?
I really am glad you decided to investigate. The mystery was eating me up inside. You know, I watched you work these past few days. Watched as you pulled our neighbours' lives apart piece by piece. Getting to work with you at Shirley's pub and seeing you before that at Lady Doe's house.
Uf.
It was very exciting.
A ver cómo salimos de esta. A ver cómo salimos de esta, gente. ¿Qué tenemos a nuestro alcance? No puedo hacer nada, ¿no? Silla de ruedas. Venga, vamos. Vamos, 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 vamos. Venga, 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 vamos.
It's funny, I felt that if I could just reach out. Of course, I couldn't.
From what I remember, you reached out with your fist.
You almost caught me that night, you know, in Lady Doe's basement. You were so close, but still so far. You know, I've never had to go back and check before. But after you promised me you'd find her, I had to think on my feet. She cried when she saw me. I suppose she was seeing me for the first time in many ways.
She? You mean the girl that, some other poor child you've taken?
¿Sigue viva? ¿La mató? Sigue viva.
Is she still alive? The girl? Why did you do this?
Charlotte May was 6 when she... You see, after so many years, well, they stop looking like children, don't they?
Dear God.
Madre mía.
So she was too old to remind you of the
Madre mía.
Charlotte May. And that's why
¿Qué pasa,
It
Kaneki?
really isn't your first time.
First time I
Yeah.
did this, my hands were shaking.
Todo es muy fabuloso, su miedo.
I'd have been embarrassed. just
¿Cómo estás,
in your
hermano?
presence.
You sound as though she means nothing to you.
She means everything to me.
Have you lost your mind?
I think our little talk is over, Mr. Conway. Believe me, I don't want to do this, but you leave me no choice.
Yo estoy justo en el endgame
I
del
don't
juego
think you
este.
will kill me.
Después de 6 streams.
You didn't tie that little girl up for no reason.
Entras justo en el
If you
momento.
were simply a murderer, you wouldn't have left her alive down there. There has to be something more to you.
What makes you so sure?
I think you wanted to see her as Charlotte May. You wanted to believe it, right up until the end.
Well, you've got it all figured out, haven't you?
What happened to the real Charlotte May?
You have a daughter, Mr. Conway. You know how it is. It's your responsibility.
Ah, te cuento, te
Your
cuento.
duty to protect them, no matter what.
Tony. What happened?
I must have left the balcony door unlocked.
Motherfucker.
Took my eyes off her for just a second.
Motherfucker.
We lived on the 5th floor.
Tony,
Hostia, qué hijo de puta, tío.
perhaps we should talk about it. You can tell me about her. If you let me go, I'm sure
I don't think so, Mr. Conway. I've complimented you on your intellectual prowess. Please don't insult mine.
Fine. Where is the girl now?
She's quite safe.
Hostia, me va a pinchar. Vale, espera. Vale, vamos a aprovechar la pausa. Kaneki, ¿qué pasa, tío? Bienvenido. Oye, gente, Kaneki, compi, hermano, hace un contenido increíble. Tiene un don especial, tiene una voz que flipáis, tiene un desparpajo que flipas. Pasaros por su canal. Genshin Impact, le pega a Genshin Impact, que da gustito. Que no lo tengo automatizado, tío. Kaneki, no lo tengo automatizado. No tengo puesto en el Nightbot todavía los comandos para poner los links de los canales. Pon tu link, anda. Pon tu link. Pon tu link ahí. Twitch, tal. Y nada, un juego de investigación, un indie de investigación que, bueno, si te gusta el género, pues no está mal. Tiene algún que otro bug que tienen que corregir. Pero bueno, tampoco te quiero hacer ningún spoiler ni quiero contarte toda la historia, el lore. Si te gustan los juegos de investigación, pues está bien, está baratito y bueno, yo que sé, unas 12-15 horas te lo puedes pasar. Y eso, estamos justo en el endgame, sabiendo quién es aprendiendo a ver quién es el asesino. Con permiso y sin él. Faltaría más. Faltaría más, company. Faltaría más, company. ¿Dónde la secuestró? ¿Dónde están sus padres? ¿Cuál es el verdadero nombre de la niña? La última es un poco relevante, ¿no? Venga, ¿dónde están sus padres?
Where are her parents? The girl I've been looking for.
I couldn't tell you now, but for a while they owned a small doctor's practice in Turing City. That's where I first saw her. She reminded me so much of my Charlotte. Over the next few days, I saw it more and more in her.
What would the real Charlotte May think of you?
You won't speak her name again.
Do you think she'd be proud of what you've done?
Please. Stop.
What about this girl? Everyone's looking for her. You can't get away with this.
Mr. Conway, you've already arrested Shirley. No one is going to find her. And no one is going to find you.
Hostia,
Now,
chaval.
please stop. You're beginning to make me rather uncomfortable.
Jesus. You wouldn't want her to remember you this way.
None of that matters. Now, please, try to keep still.
Come on.
Please, don't do this.
No puedo.
You're a reasonable man, Mr. Morgan. I know you don't want to do this.
Believe me, I've tried to change what I am, but I can't.
Hostia.
Mr. Morgan, I would very much like to speak with you.
For God's sake.
Hostia, qué motherfucker, chaval.
Like father, like daughter. Not a word, Mr. Conway. The anesthesia should kick in shortly.
Hello, Mr. Morgan. I'm sorry to trouble you, but
El cursor se va de fiesta. Escapar.
Run away.
Your father. Are you expecting him?
Es él.
I thought he might already be here.
Es él.
He said he was going to talk to you about Shirley
It's
Downs.
him. It's him.
May I come in and talk through our options?
Help.
I'm not sure that's
Please
a good
help
idea.
me.
Help.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm
I
back
can come
here.
back tomorrow.
Help.
You know what? With everything that's going on, I'm not... Yes. I think that would be a good
Guay,
idea.
hay toda la morfina que me ha enchufado.
Save yourself.
Lunchtime, perhaps.
If you think it can wait until then, I'm sorry to bother you so late.
Please, don't apologize. We'll talk tomorrow.
Vale, tenemos acción. ¿Podemos hacer algo? Podemos salir, podemos... Silla de ruedas. Venga, vamos.
Wait,
Vamos.
if you haven't seen my father, then why is his camera in the house? And his bag? Mr. Morgan? Vamos. Game over. Venga, ¿qué ha pasado? Venga. Arresto de Tony Morgan, 6 horas más tarde, 5:36. Vale. ¿Tenemos acción del personaje? Sí, tenemos acción. Vamos a hablar con Tony Levy.
Do you know where Catherine is?
Está muy charlatán. Ojo. ¿Qué vas a dar con el piti? Sí, señor.
Catherine!
Dad, are you okay?
I'm fine. Thank God you are. I thought the worst.
I did too. What happened here? I mean, what on earth did I walk into?
If I'm honest, I'm still trying to figure that out myself.
Shirley was telling the truth.
It appears so.
We searched the house. We'd ruled him out.
Is he...
No, he's alive. He's been taken to the station. We want to know if he's done this before.
I'm afraid you won't like the answer.
My could have been you.
It could have been either one of us.
¿Y la niña? ¿La niña qué?
Dad, listen,
No, Catherine, I'm sorry.
I am too. It's funny, I came back tonight because part of me knew I should have listened to you, but I just wanted to prove to myself that I didn't need any help.
The apple hasn't fallen far from the tree. I need to ask, did you find Charlotte May? Is she...
Follow me.
Follow the leader.
Charlotte.
Está viva.
This man is Robert Conway. He's been looking for you for days.
Are you okay, my dear? You're safe now. You don't need to be scared anymore. Catherine here is going to take good care of you.
I'll just be a moment. I'll come back. Don't worry. She hasn't said a word since we found her. She thought that Tony Morgan was her real father. She didn't even know that...
It doesn't bear thinking about.
So, what do we do now? She doesn't have a home.
Oh, that reminds me. Her real parents owned a doctor's surgery in Turing City. Can't be many doctors out that way who have a missing child.
It's a great place to start. I imagine you'll want to come along and help.
No. Perhaps it's best to leave this up to the professionals.
I'd like it if you were by my side.
I'd like that too.
Bueno, nos hemos reconciliado con nuestra hija al menos, ¿no? Y sobre todo, Catherine está viva. Que es lo más importante, gente. Catherine está viva. Yo lo estaba diciendo, tío. Desde hace ya 2 capítulos que lo decía. A mí el padre me huele mal. El padre me huele mal. El padre tiene algo chungo. El juego te hace pensar que es Levi, pero no. Seguro que no. Muy bien. Conway, Disappearance, Dahlia Bio. Aquí lo tenemos. No ha estado mal. No ha estado mal, la verdad. No ha estado mal. Un juego de White Paper Games. White Paper Games, estudio de Reino Unido, que desde aquí nuevamente volvemos a darle las gracias por la oportunidad de haber podido probar el juego, de haberlo compartido con todos vosotros durante estos 6 capítulos, 6 streamings. Y nada más. Una historia, lo que es el juego en sí, pues la historia está bastante bien, la línea argumental pues bien, va avanzando, no hay momentos que se te haga especialmente pesado. Sí, un poquito a lo mejor cuando acabas cada episodio y tienes que relacionar las pruebas entre sí que has ido encontrando en el capítulo, eso es un poco, no sé, no me gustaba mucho esa parte, pero lo que es el resto, bien. Investigación, puzzles bastante entretenidos. Algunos han sido un reto que nos ha costado, hay alguno que nos ha costado 1 horita y algo desvelarlo, me acuerdo. Y nada, esto es. Otro jueguito más completo para el canal. Segundo ya de 2022. Y nada más, peña. Vamos a dejarlo por aquí, ¿os parece? ¿Vale? Gente de YouTube, muy fuerte like si os ha gustado el vídeo, muy fuerte like si os ha gustado la serie, suscribiros al canal y nada, os invito a que os paséis por Twitch y y compartáis con nosotros este tiempo aquí en los directos y estéis con nosotros en los directos y nada más. Sed felices, portaros bien, sed buenos y todo ese rollo. Pues nada, gente, oye, si os parece, os dejo con los créditos del endgame y cuando acabe directamente os pasaré con una raid. ¿Vale? Pues nada, peñita, muchísimas gracias por estar ahí. Muchísimas gracias. Nos vemos. Adiós, peña. Adiós, adiós, adiós.